Good morning, Airsians. Welcome back to another stream with Baobao and our Dawntrail patch quests. But today we are starting off with You Oughta Be There, the Make It Rain event, which gives you a cute little minion and a cute little otter backpack. Why, Mr. Spousa, what fortune that we should meet again. You have been well, I trust. Would that our meeting were under more fortunate circumstances. I'm in something of a bind at the moment, but perhaps that is why fate has guided your steps here. Might I borrow your ear for a moment? As you may have heard, the Make It Rain campaign is in full swing at the Gold Saucer. My peers and I are come to advertise the festivities, but we lack the staff required to cover the whole of Ul'dah. I do not wish to impose, but might we prevail upon you for your assistance? You can count on me. Wonderful, it's a great help to us, truly. Pray meet me at the Gold Court, and I shall give a more detailed account of the circumstances. I believe our collaborators are scheduled to perform there shortly. That was the wrong button. Oh, hi, I just crit. Ah, you've arrived. Ere I begin with explanations, I think it best to let you first experience this year's main attraction. People of Ul'dah, lend me your ears. Allow me to present my dear friends, come all the way from the far east. These are the Globe-Trotter Otters, this year's ambassadors to the Gold Saucer. We bid you join us for the ongoing Make It Rain campaign, where merriment abounds and dreams are made manifest with mounds of MGP. Whether you wish to play the cactpot, race for chocobos, or try your hand at mahjong, there is fun for one and all at the Manderville Gold Saucer. Globe-Trotter Otters, she said. I've not seen their like before, but now I feel as though I've been missing out my whole life. And if we go to the Gold Saucer, we may encounter more of these furry little gentlemen. I suppose it has been a while since my last visit. The Auri performer there is Mistress Ajisai. She and her otter companions hail from the far northeastern nation of Nagsha. I am told Lord Manderville owed her people a great debt. 'Twas he who invited her troop to lead our campaign this year, an apt choice, for they dazzle and delight passers-by with their performances. While promotional efforts here at the Gold Saucer are all well and good, we haven't the hands to cover as much ground as we initially envisioned. As such, I thought it prudent to seek out a trustworthy adventurer who could guide one of the otters around town. Oh my god, they're so cute. Yeah, I can do it. Ah, this must be our assistant. We are most delighted to meet you, Baobao. I am Ajisai, and this here is my friend, Usosuke. Isn't this grand, Usosuke? Baobao here is taking you to roam the city. Purr, purr. Pip, 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 pip. You say she seems a trustworthy sort. My, that's rather high praise coming from you, and quite rare besides. Oh. Wait, you speak Otter? Indeed I do. For generations my home village has lived in harmony with otters. Having spent my entire life with them, I am well accustomed to their speech and mannerisms. In fact, Mistress Agisai is an avid conversationist who has dedicated her life to protecting the otters in their habitats. A portion of the proceeds from this year's campaign will go toward Nagshan otter preservation efforts.
That they will. It is precisely why I wish to bring as many patrons as possible to the saucer. Their support and yours may save countless otters, so your cooperation would be most appreciated.
For promotional purposes, we have prepared you a uniform and special backpack, not unlike the ones Mistress Agisai and I are wearing. When you are ready, just say the word and I shall present you with the raiments you require. You're ready then? Excellent. Once you've donned your uniform and backpack, pray accompany Master Usosuke as he makes his rounds of the steps of Thal.
Usosuke is possessed of a keen instinct for locating crowds, but given the limits of his vocabulary, we'd like for you to speak in his stead and inform patrons of the Gold Saucer's myriad wonders. Ollier and I have a meeting to attend, but once we have finished, we mean to canvass the steps of Nald with the rest of the Globetrotter otters in search of potential patrons. May the Kami of Fortune see fit to bless us both. Now be a good little otter for Baobao, Usosuke. Pip.
Do keep a sharp eye on Master Usosuke, my friend.
I'll do my best.
I can't sprint. Oh, this is the cutest thing ever.
Pip, pip, pip. Oh, Mother, look! Isn't he sweet? I think he's trying to tell us something. I see. So they're having a festival at the Gold Saucer. Will there be more adorable animals like him wandering about? Their mascot's a lovable, huggable Sabatender. That sounds like a dream come true. I'd love to see it all for myself. Can we go to the Gold Saucer, Mother dearest? Can we? We'll need to consult your father about it. He did recently bring up the subject of taking more family outings, though, so I doubt he'll refuse. Thank you so much for finding us. If I see you at the Gold Saucer, I'd love to spend more time with you. Pip, pip, pip.
Okay, bye. Pip, pip, pip. Okay, next. I can go up here, right? Yeah. That's something I probably should have done already. Why, I have not seen such a classier creature in all my days. Have you some business with us? Ah, yes, the Make It Rain campaign. Lord Godbert always did have a penchant for dressing his mascots in dignified raiments. And I see you are dressed in some striking accoutrements as well. Tell me, as an aficionado of all things fashion, what might I gain from going to the Gold Saucer? You'll love Masked Rose's fashion report. Is that right? I normally have no interest in gaudy amusement parks, but that sounds rather promising. Perhaps it's worth experiencing for myself. Thank you, my fuzzy little gent. You've given me a fresh new perspective on the saucer, and that tuxedo is absolutely flawless, I must say. Pip! Pip, 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 pip. Okay, let's go. We got this. Oh. I see.
Pip, pip, pip. Pip, pip.
Heh, let me guess. Something's afoot at the Gold Saucer.
Uh-huh.
Ah, so the Make It Rain campaign's returned, eh? Haven't been to the saucer in an age, but I really ought to change that. We owe much more to Lord Godbert, after all.
Was there something he helped you with?
The three of us were Alamegan refugees, you see. The average old Don didn't take so kindly to us, and despite our best efforts, our job prospects were slim to none. But Godbert Mandrill changed all that, hired the three of us and more to help build his gold saucer. I don't suppose your companion's tuxedo was based on Senor Sabatender's, was it? Senor Sabatender's a favorite of mine, him and all he represents. Construction on the saucer started soon after the calamity. In those days, Dalamud's aftermath haunted every waking moment of our lives. And yet, despite it all, there was an old Lala-felon man among the workers who loved nothing more than to make us laugh. Every day he'd think up some new dance or pose to lift our spirits. Some called him eccentric, but none could deny the joy he brought us. After our work was done and the saucer was built, our old Godbert sought out that man and dubbed him the first Senor Sabatender. Even now, even if it's not the same man in the suit, I can't help but grin when he strikes his famous pose. It ain't much of my business anymore, but keep on spreading that joy to others, just like our friend did.
Pip, pip.
Any road, didn't mean to talk your ear off. I'll let you get back to it, and don't you worry, we'll find time to visit the saucer.
Brr. Pip, 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 pip.
With his rounds complete, Usosuke strolls off in the direction of the Gold Court. It'd be best to reconvene with him and report to Ajisai. Alright. Now I can run.
Welcome back, Baobao. I must extend my thanks to you once again for accompanying dear Usosuke. You ought to thank Baobao as, Is something troubling you, Usosuke? Pip, pip, pip. Pip, pip, pip. You wish to learn Senor Sabatender's famous pose? What inspired this all of a sudden?
That ought to occur during your rounds.
Ah, so that is the way of it. I imagine Usosuke yearns to uplift others in the self-same spirit of Senor Sabatender. Pip, pip.
A noble desire, that, and one that can feasibly be arranged. I shall speak to Lord Godbert and request the tutelage of our current Senor Sabatender. Our patronage has thrived thanks in part to his efforts, and after all, Master Usosuke's continued endeavors will be a boon to guests and staff alike.
Pip, pip. Brrr. Isn't that wonderful, Usosuke? We may never have made this discovery without your assistance, Baobao. I am in your debt. Pip, pip.
Well then, I believe it's high time we made our way to the Gold Saucer. Pray meet us there at your earliest convenience, Mistress Bowza. Your reward awaits. Oh, it's back there. Dang it. I passed him. Ollier, why are you hiding from me? Ah, there you are. Allow me to express my thanks again for spending time with Master Sosuke. He and his fellow globetrotter otters took to their posing lessons most diligently. Our current senior subattender was quite impressed with the results, just as I'm sure our clientele will be. What's more, I am pleased to report that this year's promotional campaign is proving incredibly profitable. It pays to take the gold saucer directly to Ul'dah, so to speak, and you were an invaluable asset to our success. In recognition of these efforts, Lord Godbert has expressed an interest in personally presenting you with your reward. Allow me to take you to him. Baobao, welcome, my friend, to the Gold Saucer. Ollier tells me you have done us a great service, promoting our campaign with aplomb. As you can see, the saucer is teeming with satisfied guests. And so, in the spirit of innovation with which I pride my craft, 'tis my great privilege to bestow upon you my newest masterpiece. Behold. Huh?
He's exquisite.
I present to you Signor Otter, a mammoth crafted in the likeness of our friend Usosuke. This miniature globetrotter and the backpack we entrusted to you earlier are yours to keep.
Thank you.
As Ollier may have mentioned, I have pledged to invest a percentage of our profits into otter preservation efforts, and we are off to a most heartening start. On behalf of all involved, you have my heartfelt gratitude. The Gold Saucer is and shall ever be a place of merriment for all who enter, which is why I should hope we can expect your patronage as well. Until then, know that we eagerly await your next visit. Yay! Quest complete. Ta-da! There he is. Let us summon him. Let us drop off our quest with nostalgia so we can get that out of there.
You're back. Was the dead walk as haunting as we expected? Let me get this straight. You met a disturbed mascot, attended a twisted tea party, were assaulted by a sky wheel and a merry-go-round, then fought for your life in a haunted house?
The Endless House, to be precise, and with that my suspicions are confirmed. In the days when Dreamborough yet flourished, the Endless House often held plays with volunteers from the audience. These volunteers would be cast as the story's heroes and tasked with rescuing a captive princess from Traumaray, Lord of Nightmares.
That sounds awfully familiar to Baobao's experience.
Precisely. Thus, I believe that Deadwalk's monstrous residents were given life by the lingering memories of the Endless who once called it home. As its name once implied, the district was built for those Endless who loved to dream. The theme park itself likely gained a mind of its own. Over the years, perhaps it too harbored the hope that a hero would grant its former citizens' final, desperate wish for freedom. And for home.
So, as I understand it, when Queen Sphene and Zoral Ja first attempted interdimensional fusion, a few areas within living memory suddenly vanished into the rift, including Dreamborough. And as the endless souls within began to fade, their memories and desires fused with the very essence of their home to turn the Deadwalk into what it is now? Considering the timing, we have to assume the district's reconnection is due to Her Majesty's last attempt at interdimensional fusion, but with Traumaray gone, those lost souls should finally be able to rest in peace.
I am not entirely certain, but the rift did close upon Baobao's return. I can only hope your hypothesis is true, and their role in that hollow performance has concluded. As has mine, I suspect. Long have I served as a guide, eager to bring joy to every visitor who passed through living memory's golden gates. But I see now why I remained. I was meant to perform this final act of guidance, to lead you both to those lost dreamers. I do not wish to dampen the mood, of course, so I shall take my leave, but I could not be prouder to serve my fellow citizens, and I could not be happier that you were my final guests. Farewell, my friends, and thank you, truly.
I pity him, but I think it's best to let him go. We should return to Solution 9. Your good deeds still need to go rewarded, after all. I'll meet you back there as my real self this time. Where is she? Yeah, she's right here. A job well done, Baobao. With the Deadwalk anomaly taken care of, Oblivion can return to its regular surveys of living memory. We'll have to decide carefully how best to handle the former haven of Endless, but I do know one thing for sure. It's our duty to uncover the mysteries at the heart of living memory, what it was made for, and what horrors kept it running, so that we never repeat those mistakes. I'd like to think that's what the lost souls there would have wanted us as well. And that's what'll drive me forward. Thank you again for your help, and safe travels out there. I will do my utmost to ensure the happiness of Alexandria and its people. The city looks as though it's regained a sense of normalcy. Alas, the people will not soon forget recent events.
Sorry, I was off in my own little world. Shall we get started?
Are you all right, Geode?
Me? Well, I'm well enough, given the circumstances. It was the Queen's fondest wish that her subjects remain shielded from the horrors of death, and so they were, for the longest time. Then, the moment mortality once again becomes an unavoidable fact of life, they are greeted with an outbreak of bloody violence. Many are bound to give the endless alternative serious consideration.
Indeed, and I do not blame them for that. It is only natural that such thoughts should come to mind. What I cannot forgive is the way Calyx wields fear and misery to manipulate people into making that choice. No one, not Calyx nor anyone else, shall dictate how we cope with the spectre of death. As one who lived as an Alexandrian, I wish to put the choices for this country's future back into the hands of its citizens.
And you think we can handle that responsibility, after everything you've seen of us?
It is what I've seen that has convinced me that you can. I awoke 4 centuries later to find our people living and laughing beneath Alexandria's banner. Though surprised and bewildered, I was overjoyed to see it so. You all deserve to be happy.
Well then. We'd best not let you down. No, I suggest we move as a group. We don't know if or when a battle might find us.
Oh, I believe someone came prepared for just such an eventuality. Is that the grimoire you retrieved from the old castle? Yes, my parents gifted it to me when I was a child. They were adamant that I should learn to protect the things important to me. I was fortunate enough to have a tutor in the arcane arts, so I lay claim to some small measure of skill. If that's the case, it might be better if we split into 2 groups after all. 'Twould certainly be more efficient for information gathering.
I guess that makes sense. The 2 of you can take the west side of the recreation zone then. Baobao and I will take the east.
Very well. We shall end our patrol in the plaza just past Trueview and await you there.
Let's do the rounds then. We'll see what's what and chat to the people we meet along the way. Pay special attention to anyone who looks overwhelmed or overly excited. Hopefully that will earn us a tidbit or 2 that we didn't know before. I'm going the wrong way immediately. Are the sentries and air-wheelers safe to be around now? I just know it's going to happen again, and maybe next time I'll be the one who dies in a horrible accident. I need a neo-regulator. Becoming endless is the only way. Even Queen Sphene said so.
She was lying to you, because that's not Sphene.
You want to hear my story? Well, I appreciate you offering a sympathetic ear. There's not much to tell. If you must know, a good friend of mine died when those machines went crazy. His air-wheeler dropped right out of the sky and he didn't survive the crash. Damn fool wasn't wearing a regulator. I know that's not so strange these days, but he'd never bothered with one. He was at peace with the idea of dying someday, and I thought I understood what that meant. Until it happened. What has me in such a fine mood, you ask? Well, I've just registered my new regulator. I was leery of becoming nothing more but memories at first, but now that I've gone through with the registration, I've never felt more at ease. Also, once it was done, the regulator displayed the current numbers. Of the 5,000 slots available, over 3,800 have already been filled. So if you're still hesitant, you've not much time to make your mind up. Mark my words, friend, when there's only a few slots left, it's going to get very ugly. Baobao, a word? I feel like there was a new factor in these stories we've heard, one we hadn't considered during our discussion with everyone in the back room.
That fights are likely to break out over the near— oh, no, the victim of violence wasn't wearing a regulator.
Yes, that's it. The vast majority of residents have always worn regulators, so it's not a detail we'd normally think about. With the supply of souls cut off, though, more and more people have been going without them. We need to look into the casualties from the recent attacks and check whether or not they were equipped with regulators. Let's ask around on the street over to the east. It was pretty chaotic at the time, but maybe we'll find eyewitnesses who can help us confirm if this was a pattern or not. I feel like I already have the answer.
Hello, how are you today? Please let me know if I may be of service. Citywide casualty data unavailable. Government officials are currently processing reports from all affected zones.
Can you narrow it down to the recreation zone, then? You must have some estimates on hand.
Recalibrating parameters. Injured, 87 individuals. Casualties, 19 individuals. Casualties, equipped with regulators, 0. You wish to know if the people who died in the machine rampage were wearing regulators? I'm sorry, but I was assigned to clearing away debris. I didn't see any of the deceased. No bodies were present by the time I arrived, so I assumed the ushers had already done their work. I do remember there being patches of white dust scattered about that were quite a chore to clean up, but nothing else worthy of mention.
Baobao, I think it's time we rejoined Krylan's Fiend. I was half joking with my boast to Shale, but we may have stumbled upon something major here. We should share our findings and keep pursuing this avenue of inquiry. Didn't Kryl say to meet them in the plaza just outside of Trueview? Let's get going.
They're using people for either again.
Alex is really quite diabolical.
We finished our patrol as well. Did it not seem that more people wanted near regulators than before? So essentially, you're saying that the people who were killed by malfunctioning machines weren't wearing regulators.
Well, the numbers are still tentative, and only apply to that one zone. We don't know how they'll stack up against the overall data, but this is definitely more than a coincidence. I think it's safe to say that anyone who would remove their regulator was a priority target.
Now that you mention it, the person I was treating for injuries wasn't wearing one either. But why? Why are they being targeted over everyone else? Based solely on the lack of a neo-regulator, we cannot judge if a person has no desire to become endless or if they simply failed to acquire one of the limited devices. But those who wear no regulator at all, they have clearly rejected the old system of using souls to revive themselves. Put another way, they have chosen to live their lives in the knowledge that death is an inevitability. The chances that such resolute people would wish to become endless are far lower, I would imagine. And so Calyx has chosen those least likely to accept his vision as victims to stoke fear and panic.
But there was no need to kill anyone! With the way things were, the people were already fearful enough. He could have found 5,000 willing citizens without all this madness.
You make a good point. Perhaps this sowing of terror is in service to another scheme, or he had some other need for the lives he's taken.
What of the dust found at various sites? Right, the sanitation worker's story. She saw no bodies, but mentioned piles of white dust.
Dust, but no bodies. Now where have I heard that before? Do you recall when we went to save Erinville from the sentries in the outskirts? That usher Malachite told us much the same thing.
When I arrived, I found no body, only a pile of dust which the wind quickly scattered. Confused, I questioned the residents, but none knew what had become of it.
That both stories speak of missing remains is suspicious enough, but the shared mention of this dust is too much to ignore. In that case, we should confirm if this substance was present at other sites and attempt to ascertain its nature. Following this thread may lead us not only to an explanation for the missing bodies, but also the intent behind Calix's murderous actions.
Baobao, we need your help.
I've lost control over the soldiers in the residential area. They might be trying to hurt people again. Oblivion members are on their way now, but are you close enough to join them?
Damn it! Our new investigation will have to wait. Let's go! He is killing more people! We're right here. You shouldn't be patrolling anywhere alone, Geode. Go!
よかった。急車は外れてる。ごめんなさい。私がもっと早く来ていれば。安心して。私が絶対に助けるからね。ありがとう、フードのお姉ちゃん。
Hello, I'm also a sage. Yeah, thank you.
お母さん、ずっとこのままなの？今は寝てるだけ。しばらくしたらきっと目を覚ますよ。よかった。ありがとう。お母さんの命をつないでくれて。
She should recover in due course. I'm glad we arrived when we did.
When I was sick and couldn't move, my mother was always at my side, always keeping me company, and I'm going to do the same for her.
Forgive me, I was reckless. You shouldn't have had to waste time tending to my wounds as well. Did you see our other comrade back there? He stayed behind in the lobby, but I heard the sounds of fighting. I'm sorry. He must have fallen protecting the residents. Our comrade, do you think he may have been struck down? If he's wounded or worse, I should go to him. Wait, please. It isn't safe, and you still need to rest. Would you stay with Milos and watch over Isadora with me? We will tend to your friend. Thank you. Please be careful yourself.
The hell? Oh, in the lobby.
That man, this is awful.
Why? Why is this happening?
Isadora is going to be all right then. I'm so glad. I've just finished my ministrations here. Our Oblivion comrade was beyond saving, I'm afraid. That brave soul. He gave his life to save another.
He died protecting me. I don't understand why any of this is happening. That sentry was behaving normally like any other, then all of a sudden it tried to kill me.
Weapons or no, Calyx commanded them to commit murder. Is it over? We came as soon as Wayakwe sent word. Oh. I am sorry. By the time we arrived, it was already too late.
Then Geode could be in trouble too. Once we have this radius locked down, we need to find him.
But why? Has something happened?
Possibly. We're not sure what, but he stopped responding to our communications.
We need to prioritize securing the residential sector, though, at least until we regain control over the sentries. Then we should search for Geode. I agree. Since most Oblivion members have sworn off regulators, if our theory holds true, then they could be prime targets for the next attack. Please do what you can to shepherd the residents to safety, but avoid the sentries at all costs.
Our thanks. Here, take these communicators. We've made modifications to them to prevent Calyx from intercepting the signal, and have been using them to coordinate movements with allies in the vicinity. Wayakwe has one too, so I'll ask her to keep hailing Geode.
Good luck and stay safe. Geode said he would sweep the surrounding area, so he shouldn't have ventured too far. Let's get going.
He never should have run off by himself.
Please, Geode. Please be safe. Geode! Geode, answer me!
あとはこの辺りだけか。頼む、まだ生きててくれよ。
ジオード、お願いです。応答してください。
俺だ。応答できなくて悪かった。
ジオード、よかった。無事だったんですね。今どこですか？
隣の居住閣だ。エントランスにいたやつは片付けた。2階を見回ったらこう理由。
どうしたんですか？塵って連
中ソウルケージで魂どころか肉体のエーテルまで吸い尽くしてやがる。塵は人だったものの残骸だ。おそらくケージは改造されてる。
Really?
あんた逃げるぞ。ここはもう騙したのか。悪い。あとは頼む。
あっちの塔にはいなかった。多分この先。ジオードさんいる。
残念だよ。最後にもう一体分持ち帰れるかと思ったんだけど。お前たちが来たからには諦めるしかなさそうだ。
カリュクス、君は何をしているの。何のためにこんなひどいことを。
5000人のトワビトを作り出すために必要なエーテル、お前だったらどこから調達する？
どういうこと？
鍵を手にするまで共造世界には頼れない。なら手近なところで済ませるしかない。現在この国に残っている住民のうち 7% をエーテルとして回収すれば5000人をトワビト化できる。 11% なら向こう800年は安定した稼働が見込める算段だ。どうせいずれは朽ちる肉体、永遠の生を選ばない以上今エーテルに返しても一緒だよ。時間も惜しいし無駄な戦闘をするつもりはない。この機体じゃ結果は分かりきっているしね。ちなみに殺戮をやめるといえば鍵を渡してくれるのか？
No, I'm just gonna halt your harvest. You would only seek other victims.
だろうな。我ながら頭の悪い質問だった。
Yes, it was.
じゃあ仕事に戻るよ。お前から鍵を奪うのは大変なんだ。
Oh, fuck off. I can't. There are no words. This pile of dust. These ashes. And the soul cell he left behind. Was that his twisted way of returning Geode to us? Damn you, Calyx. Damn you and your careless cruelty. He was our friend. Even so, some might say every death was justified if it meant 5,000 endless could continue their immortal lives. And if a reflection stolen ether allowed for many more endless, why, that too would be a noble sacrifice for the greater good. Who could think that? Not I. Certainly not I. We know only too well. There is naught noble in this sacrifice. We have to stop him. We have to find Calyx and put an end to this madness as soon as possible. And under no circumstances can we let the key fall into his possession, Baobao. It falls to us. We must. We will thwart his plans here in Alexandria before he can terrorize innocents and reflections elsewhere. I will hold on to Geode's gun. If you could take the Cell Soul, please. We should return to the back room. Shale and the others need to know what happened. Yes, I'll ask Wayakwe to meet us there as well.
僕が機械兵を制御できていれば。グルージャのせいじゃない。悪いのは全部あいつだよ。どうしてこんな理不尽なことを。計画って。私たちは今ここで生きてるのに。命を何だと思ってるの？
I don't think he remembers what life is.
カルクスもいつも何もできない私も。待って、どこに行くの？頭を冷やすだけ。分かってる。バカな真似はしない。 あなたはここで休んでいて。私がノスタルジアさんについているわ。ありがとうございます。
皆さんとジオードが駆けつけてくれたおかげで被害を最小限に食い止めることができたんです。救われた命が確かにありました。それに僕たちが掴んだ手がかりと皆さんが持ち帰ってくれた情報を合わせればカリクスの潜伏先がわかるかもしれません。けどすみません。ほんの少しでいいので僕たちに前へ進むための時間をくれませんか？
ジオード。
Another comrade gone. Some days it's almost more than I can bear. Geode was... he was an older brother to Nostalgia and me. Shale knew him longer, though, and is surely taking it the hardest, and that's on top of what happened with Kafkiwa. Do you think you could check on her? See how she's doing? She's like to put on a brave face if it's me or my sister. Apologies, my mind was elsewhere. We need to press on with the hunt for Calyx, but I can't seem to focus. I should be better than this, I know. As you said, you need time to work through it. You're right, I ought to heed my own words. As it stands, I am of no use to anyone. Kafkiwa used to say the best thing to do with grief was to let it all out. So I think I'll take myself over to Earth and Sky and say my goodbyes to Geode. Why don't you come along? I could use someone to blubber to if you've a shoulder to spare. Right then, let's get out of Everkeep for a bit. Oh, hey. It's a fair trek on foot, so I've arranged for a couple of air-wheelers. They've had their communications modules removed, so even Calyx shouldn't be able to seize control of them. Say the word and we'll set off. Yeah, let's go. I love the fact that the turret doesn't attack me. These air-wheelers are Janelt's babies. You won't find a smoother ride in all of Everkeep. For years now, I've been taking one out for a turn whenever I needed to lighten my mood. Sometimes Geode would come along too, and we'd end up racing. Does that surprise you? Our friendship always had a competitive edge. We would often talk about how one day we might fly our wheelers outside the dome.
Almost there. Be sure the ground is clear before you touch down. Phew, that's helped clear my head a touch. You know, Baobao, you might be the first person I've ridden with who wasn't an Oblivion recruit. As far as I remember, at least. The memories from my regulator days aren't exactly reliable. Come on, let's head inside. Hopefully the way will be clear of pests today. I will simply fly over them. Damn it! Foiled again! Yeah. No, it won't be the same without him. Huh? Huh? Where is Shale? Where is Shale? She's still out there! I'm good at this. Thanks. We can usually avoid such encounters, but sometimes they wander in and block the only path. Not that it slowed you down at all. I've never seen you fight up close before, and the surveillance feed clearly didn't do it justice. Hopefully that keeps the route clear for a while. Shall we?
これまでも仲間を亡くした時にはよくここで思い出話をしてたんですよ。ジオードとカフキワさんと3人で。一杯どうです？
あら？お二人ともどうしてここに？
Raising a glass in kinship.
よかったら一緒におしゃべりでもしませんか？
では少しだけ。そういえばうちの組織って数十年前に創設者たちが謎の失踪を遂げた後、カフキワさんが立て直したって聞いてますけど、シェールさんとジオードも再建メンバーだったんですよね。そのあたりの話聞かせてくださいよ。興味ありますよね。昔の二人がどんな感じだったかとか。
I've heard they were a pair of brawlers.
僕とジオードの出会い自体が再建を始める直前だったんですよ。当時の僕はレギュレーターをつけていて、誰か大切な人を亡くしたばかりでした。ずっと続けてきたアダプターの仕事も辞めて、バーの接客なんかで適当に日銭を稼いでたんです。 がある日、客としてやってきたジオードと口論になって、初対面なのになぜか殴り合いの喧嘩に。
なんでそんなことに。
理由は酔っててさっぱり覚えてないんですよ。まあ僕もジオードも似た者同士で誰かに当たりたかったんでしょうね。それで二人してバカみたいにぶっ倒れてたところ、通りがかった妙な機会に思いっきり説教されました。体を大事にしろだの、通行人の邪魔だのって。
今のシェールさんからは想像できないわ。その妙な機会ってもしかしてカフキワさん？
はい。彼女、一通り僕らの世話を焼いた後でこう言ったんですよ。自分はゾラージャの侵攻から外の世界を守りたいんだって。大事な息子が旅する世界が美しいままであってほしい。自暴自棄になるくらいなら手を貸してくれないかって。本当衝撃でした。それまで障壁の外のことなんて気にも留めてなかったし、おまけに自分はもう死んでるだなんてめちゃくちゃですよ。けど僕とジオードは見たくなってしまったんです。彼女の意志がつなぐ未来を。
ジオードがよく言ってました。俺はカフキアさんと出会って初めて誰かのことを覚えていたいと思うようになったって
言ってましたね、かっこつけて。
あ、でもその時点ではまだオブリビオンと名乗ってたわけじゃないんですよね。そうだったの？私てっきり。
カフキバさんは最初からかつてのオブリビオンを、クルルさんのご両親の意志を引き継ごうとしていたわけではないんですよ。それどころか存在すら知らなかった。ただその頃からすでに反体制派の存在を予測してはいました。死者の記憶を蘇らせるなんて自然の摂理から外れた行いには必ず異を唱える人がいたはずだって。そうした人たちと協力できればと考えて、基幹システムへの不正アクセスの痕跡を探し始めて見つけたんですよ。ネオンスタインの奥にある不自然な区画をね。オーナーのメランコリーさんが言うには、店を譲り受けた時から開かずの間だったとか。
それがバックルーム。
そう、隠し扉から強引に入ってみたものの、アジトはもぬけの殻でしたけどね。でも設置されていた機器にはオブリビオンと名乗る組織の活動記録が残されていた。それを見て彼らの意思を継ぐことを決めたというわけです。
私の両親とカフキワさんの思いがそこでつながったのね。そしてそこに加わったのがシェールさんとジオードだった。
もっとも僕らだけでは力不足だった。あなた方が戦ってくれたからここまで来られたんです。大切な人たちを失うことは苦しいけど、こうして誰かと楽しかった日々を思い出すことは嫌いじゃありません。思い出すたびにみんなは記憶の中で笑っていて、孤独を忘れさせてくれる。 僕が誰かと生きた記憶は僕だけのもの。生きて前に進むために必要な道しるべなんです。さて、そろそろ任務に戻りましょう。皆さん、ありがとうございました。
いえ、むしろお礼を言いたいのは私の方です。辛いことには変わりありませんが、少しだけ落ち着きましたから。オブリビオンに名を連ねた皆さんのためにも、カリクスの野望を阻止しましょうね。
She's so short. I appreciate you helping me through this, and not only the grief. You've helped me see that my comrades mean even more to me than I realized, which only fuels my determination. I'll be spending every waking moment working to bring Calyx to account for his crimes. I'll do my part, then you do yours. Oblivion needs you. These are all useless. It's time I went back to locating Calyx's lair. I have a new strategy in mind, but it remains to be seen if it will aid in narrowing down the possibilities. I'll ask Kryl for help. I want to re-examine the data, starting with that of her parents. After all, they were the first to break away from preservation and establish an organized resistance with Oblivion. There must be something in there that can point us in the right direction. What are your plans, Baobao?
Baobao, is that you? Apologies for calling suddenly. I've been making the rounds in the outskirts, and I cannot help but feel as though something is amiss. Might I ask you to join me? Your perspective would be most appreciated. It can wait until you've finished attending to Shale, of course.
It seems your plans have been decided for you. Go on, I have others to speak with before I return to the back room. Sad little fake trees.
Baobao, thank you for coming. As I mentioned, I would benefit from your worldly experience. Perhaps it is my imagination, but the townspeople appear to be acting oddly. That is, even considering the current state of affairs. As I am yet unfamiliar with the outskirts, I thought you might be better equipped to judge if their behavior is unusual or not. Would you speak with them and see what you think? Though I hope to be proven wrong, I fear something is not right here.
Greetings. I remembered when you visited with Queen Sphene. Come to check on our well-being, have you? Well, I can say that things are rather stressful out here as well. Without knowing if or when our machinery might turn murderous, the specter of death is ever present. People are terrified, and the clamor for neo-regulators has reached a fever pitch. I personally was fortunate to have claimed a new device early on, and have long since completed the registration. Death has no hold over me now. Now, I must begin my prayers. The darkness draws closer, grows deeper, and we must cast it out. Your prayers, huh? Yeah, this is an odd one.
please tell me you brought more neo-regulators. Officially, they've all been handed out already, but I've heard rumors there were a few left over. Surely the government still has some? Or perhaps Queen Sphene? I may not look it, but I was a hunter once. Back then I hardly gave death a second thought, but now that I know the truth, it's all I can think about. There has to be a way to hold on. There has to.
You have the new one. Guess not. You're not wearing a regulator. Don't you know the end is coming? Well, it's your life to lose. Me, I got one myself. Got myself one of these neo-regulators and registered a little while ago. As soon as I did, a display appeared showing the number of registered users. Right now it's sitting at 4,168. The upper limit was 5,000, wasn't it? Seems the total shot up right after those machine malfunctions. It's only a matter of time before everyone's registered. I pity those who weren't chosen, but I'm going to be an endless. I'm going to evolve and live happily ever after. Yeah, they've gone to Crazy Town.
So what did you think? Was I right to worry? Their fear is palpable. Yes, that's exactly it. The people are overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty, and with each new registration, that fear inside them grows more insistent. How long until it drives them into full-blown panic? Baobao, can you come to resolution? We have a problem. I'm already here with Lamati and Alpha Node. It sounds like she wants us there in a hurry. We should go. Ooh, yes. Transport me there. Thank you. I love it.
Hey. Hey.
みんな何があったの？呼び出して悪いわね。ちょっとあれを見てほしいのよ。
That's the miso terminal.
死は常にあなたの傍らにいます。勤勉に働いていても報われないまま死ぬかもしれない。明日成し遂げられる偉業があっても今夜のうちに死ぬかもしれない。平穏と幸福に満ちているものでさえ次の瞬間には死んでしまうかもしれないのです。肉体は脆弱です。あなたの心臓や脳、あらゆる臓物は毎秒ごとにダイスを振って停止と続行を選んでいる。この瞬間に健在であることも良いことも正しいことも何一つとして加味されはしません。理不尽な選択です。恐ろしい結末です。それがまさしく死というものです。
ゴッサン殿との会合を終えたら流れていたんだ。おそらくはこれも。
火力数。
Of course it is.
あなたの恐れを恥じる必要はありません。それこそが死を克服せんとする原動力となるのです。人類を次の形に進めましょう。人類にプリザベーションをもたらしましょう。さあ、祈り、願い、渇望してください。私たちは永遠人になるのだと。死という終わりなき闇に進化によって打ち勝つのだと。
そうだとも。 変わること、そのための最初の一歩は怖いかもしれない。でもきっとこれは正しい進化だ。俺は乗るぞ。利用登録をする。
Oh, we hadn't registered yet.
ウクラマト様、ちょうどいいところに来てくれました。俺たちをトライオラに移住させてくれませんか？
この国にいたら命がいくらあっても足りません。機械兵や機械がいつ暴走するかもわからないし、トワ人になろうにも黒いレギュレーターが手に入らないんじゃ逃げるしかありませんよね。
ここを出て行って解決するなら誰だってそうしてたさ。だが放送でも言ってただろう。生きている限り死はつきまとってくる。どんな場所に行っても誰と暮らしていても克服の機会はもう二度と訪れない。
お前、自分は黒いレギュレーターを持ってるからって。
Mm-hmm.
今トラル幽連隊がこっちに向かっていて、みんなが安全に避難できるように手はずを整えてる。トライオラは全面的に支援する。だから落ち着いてくれ、頼む。
アレクサンドリアを、みんなを助けたい。私に何ができる？他の誰でもない今の私に。
First those deadly malfunctions, and now a citywide announcement. He has spent considerable effort recruiting his 5,000 endless. Perhaps more than necessary, even. We had the hopefuls who descended on Lamati disperse for now. We could see the tempers in the crowd were starting to fray. The latest wave of attacks may not have been as widespread, but people are reaching their breaking point. We have to stop Calyx, and soon. My apologies, the sign is not responding to any of our attempts to change the display or switch it off. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in time. Krell told me everything that happened while we were away. Calyx has access to the core system, which means that if he chose to do so, he could deploy the soldiers beyond the barrier. Even if our people learn to live with death and decide to leave the dome behind, they will not be beyond his reach. Yet if it serves to allay their fears even a little, I beg you, Wuklamot, please let them shelter in Tulialal. We will welcome any and all who want to come home. We have already begun evacuations and will be able to pick up the pace once the Landsguard arrives. In which case, we had best spread out and keep an eye on the crowds. The mood is tense and we must prepare for possible violence. If you happen to determine where Calyx is hiding, though, we'll be ready to move at a moment's notice. Surely we'll find a clue of some kind soon. He can't elude us forever. Violence and fear. This is not the future she envisioned for her nation. Tulial would gladly welcome every last Alexandrian with open arms. But what of the nation that the late queen was so desperate to preserve? What of that bright haven of peace and laughter? Well, Clamat, I won't stand here and let her legacy be sullied any further. I will protect Alexandria. That was the promise I made her at the last.
But she betrayed you, did she not? Why do you feel this obligation? I saw myself in her, I suppose. We both felt the people's joy as our own, yet alone we lacked the strength to protect them. There is so much that I love in this world, too much for me to take in my arms and keep safe. And that made me afraid. I needed someone who shared that love and fear, so together we could do what we couldn't by ourselves. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe I just wish that we could have been friends. So when she turned to me in her final hour, desperate to safeguard Alexandria's future, I swore that I would see it done. In the end, I think you both found the friend you needed. I would be yours as well, Sphene. Whenever you fall or struggle to rise, I'll come running to the rescue, and you do the same for me. That's how we'll protect the things we love. That's how we'll protect Alexandria. You're right. You're right. And don't forget about me. How could we? We'd not be where we are without you. Right. We got a bit sidetracked there. We should probably be on our way. Do we patrol or see if Shale needs a hand? There you all are! Guluja! Ah, splendid. We were afraid we'd miss you. Alice and the others said you were here. Good news, Baobao. We've finally found a chink in Calix's armor. We discovered laboratories on Everkeep's 10th level that once housed a preservation initiative. Containment Complex 1029 it's called, and it's been falsely registered as a distribution center. In reality, it hasn't recorded any traffic in decades. We don't think this is where Calix is hiding as such, but it may well contain clues that will point us in the right direction. I'm sorry it took so long just to get this far. If you're interested, what do you say we all go and check it out together? Thank you for all your hard work. This is a huge step forward. And up. We need to take the lift to get to the complex. I've cleared this expedition with the relevant authorities and have one of our people waiting to operate said lift. Let's not keep her waiting. Ready to head on up? Next stop, the 10th level. Yes. We have reached the puzzle portion of the MSQ.
ここがプリザベーションの研究室の一つ。
暗くてよく見えねえな。
There's no power. Or just ambient power.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
着いた。さすがに空気がよどんでいるわね。もう長い間使われていないようだから。
ここを見つけられたのはクルルさんとグルージャのおかげなんですよ。
私の耳飾りに 黄金鏡の扉の制御コードが記録されていたでしょ。
I do remember.
あの扉がプリザベーションの組み上げたものなら、当然それを操るコードにも彼らの痕跡があると考えたの。
実際九段のコードを丹念に調べてみたら、製造者を示す記述が残っていました。それと同じ記述を制御コードに含んでいる扉がないか、エバーキープ中の扉という扉にアクセスして調べたんですよ。そして調査開始から1860個目にして、ようやくこの放棄された施設に行き着いたというわけです。グルージャが手を貸してくれて助かりました。
シェールってば、僕が休んでる間もずっと調べてたんだよ。
You're a treasure, Shale.
僕にできることなんてこのくらいですから。でも今はその言葉が染みますよ。
Well, it gets us where we need to be.
ともかく僕たちだけでできるのはここまで。ここからは皆さんのご協力が必要なんです。
手分けして探してほしいものがあるの。うまくいけばカリュクスの潜伏先を突き止められるはずよ。もちろん協力するよ。でも私たちがここに来たことってカリュクスに感づかれないのかな。
可能性は高いでしょうね。望むところですよ。
You all know our main objective. We're here to pick up Calix's trail, and I've learned of a certain device that should help us do just that. I'll explain how as we proceed, but according to that information I was able to dredge up, the device in question should have been installed in the director's office. Now, as for where that might be, yes, this map matches my data. This room we're in is in the Researchers' Commons, located in the western side of the complex. The director's office is to the northeast of here. So we should cut across this circular chamber in the middle, yes? Yes, we should, but unfortunately for us, the interior is locked shut. We'll need a security key with the appropriate clearance to open it. Judging by the mechanism, it'll probably be a card of some kind. Can't you, work some electro magic? I'll try my best, but this type of lock is well before my time. It may take a while to crack it. And in case I can't, you might want to look around and see if anyone left a security card behind. Considering the state of the place, it does seem like they abandoned it in some haste. I shouldn't be surprised if we found one. Very well, let's get to searching, shall we? I expect we'll have the most luck looking where the researchers kept their personal belongings. Acting like I don't know how to solve puzzles. Screen terminal displays what appears to be an index page of an employee manual. For security reasons, Containment Complex 1029 has been registered as a materials distribution center. Keep this in mind and conduct yourself accordingly, both inside and outside the facility. Each employee must perform their tasks within their designated workrooms, the Researchers' Commons, the Proto-Lab, or the Deutero-Lab. Entrance into another workroom without official clearance is strictly prohibited. Carry your security card at all times. Your clearance level dictates the areas to which you have access. Equip your regulator at all times. Due to the highly confidential nature of the research materials and other data managed within this complex, preservation retains the ownership of and the rights to modify the memories of all registered personnel. That's not creepy or intrusive. Access denied. Please log in with your personal account to view. Complex Director Demetrius, Protolab Chief SO4. Deuterolab Chief, redacted. Redacted, huh? A few indecipherable notes remain pinned to this notice board, but nothing that resembles a security card. A few documents sit in an untidy stack upon the desk. You find no security cards hidden among them. This appears to be the only desk with the drawers already open. You can tell at a glance that the desk's former owner has left some things behind. You discover a card-shaped object. The electro surface is marked with the bold level 1. Oh, could that be what we're looking for? Try it on the door and see if it opens. You hold the card-shaped object up to the scanner, and the door opens. And a good thing, too. I was getting nowhere with that outdated circuit. I am curious, though. Why would they abandon a facility like this? It was run by a Director Demetrius, or so that terminal there told me. Perhaps there are more answers to be had once we venture further inside. Then let's continue onwards. The door to the Director's office is across the central hub. No good? Maybe we need a different card. Yes, the scanner is demanding a level 3 security clearance to open the lock. As much as the delay chafes me, we'll just have to comb through the nearby rooms and hope we stumble upon the card we need. Let's start our search in the Protolab. The door is already open, at least. We will find a way through together, Shale. I'm sure of it. The way this room is set up. The canister inserted into that large device looks to be a soul cell. Could this be where they conducted their experiments to create Endless? Ah, but we could probably spend days investigating this complex. Finding a way into the director's office must take precedence. Speaking of which, Gulja mentioned a locker over in the corner that he couldn't open. Perhaps you could take a look. Today I began my employment at Preservation. The organization was unfamiliar to me, but when the recruitment letter arrived, I had a gut feeling that this work would be far more fulfilling than any orthodox medical practice. My instincts were correct. Master Calix's philosophy is the refined ideal of notions I've only ever vaguely entertained, that mankind must evolve beyond the shackles of its flesh and blood existence. I had a meeting with Director Demetrius today. I've heard others praise his genius intellect, yet he seems but a guttering candle in comparison to Master Calix's blinding brilliance. This morning I was permitted to access the top floor and observe the workings of living memory. As predicted, the shortage of ether required to sustain the Endless is reaching critical levels, yet Queen's Fiend insists on continuing her ineffectual flailing. Our Lala colleagues, including the Protolab chief, have been behaving in a decidedly suspicious manner of late. Should I report my concerns to the director? From tomorrow, I have been assigned to assist with the research project in the Deuterolab. We are scheduled to conduct a major experiment, the details of which I have been kept ignorant. It would seem prudent to back up my memory data. I dug through this data tablet and found a journal. I'll read it to you. The results of Experiment 158 show a marked improvement in ether extraction rates. At last we have achieved the target value set by Master Calix. Though I will become endless as per our ascendancy protocols, I will preserve this historic number along with my few remaining worldly effects. Preserve the number? And please excuse my impatience. The means to track down Calix are close, and I'm itching to get my hands on them. These notes seem to be about the research they did in here. Let's take a look. Experiment 148. Submitting inference candidate 201930 to be considered for efficiency procedure review. Aha. Experiment 158. Maximum value of 11,509 recorded. Comparative study to be included in the report. Alright then. Oh, and one more. Experiment 163. New proposal produced the result of 9834. Decreased value verified. Well, I have no idea what any of that means. Maybe it will make sense later on. This machine feeds into a soul cell. I'm reminded of my imprisonment by the Empire. Surely this device wasn't made to hold people. Yes. Damn, I'm good. The locker pops open. Inside you discover a level 2 security card. Baobao, you got the locker open. And you found another security card. Oh, but does that say level 2? We needed a level 3, didn't we? Yes, but that should still open more doors for us to explore. You did well, Baobao. These preservation members lead such surprisingly normal lives. Leaving notes, losing their cards. I guess I imagine they'd be more... what's the word? Bloodless? Mechanical. My parents were once part of preservation, if you'll recall. It would seem the researchers who agreed with Calyx and his philosophy underwent the conversion to endless entities. But I assume those who could not, or would not, eventually left the organization altogether. Oh, I almost forgot. The researchers kept journals in their data tablets. The one I read doesn't explain much, but something big happened in the complex, and afterwards it was decided that everyone would become endless. The writer was really happy about this. You can tell how much they admired Calyx and his work. The entries ended after that, but maybe you can read more in the other tablet there. Right, let's move this investigation to another room. Well, we have the Deuter lab and the maintenance facilities left to search. Both are accessed via the southeast corridor. So it's back to the hub and the locked door across the way. Which, hopefully, will yield before our new security card. I'll take the old one if you like. I doubt we'll have any more use for it. It appears to be a researcher's personal data tablet. I think this is the one I already read, wasn't it? Yeah. Alright, what's behind door number 2? Technically 3. Yes, it opened. So where should we go first? The Deuter lab or facilities? Let's start with the lab. Shale, there doesn't seem to be any power here. No, none at all. It's possible the energy supply for this room is on a separate conduit, which means there should be a contingency for opening the door. Look here. There's a sign above the card scanner. In case of emergency, backup power can be rerouted from facilities. The facilities room is down the other branch of this corridor. Let's see about getting the power restored to the Deuter lab, shall we? Engaging power supply. No good, it's returning an error. There must be a preliminary procedure. According to this error code reference, if the power supply has been interrupted for an extended period of time, then we need to reconfigure both the emergency generator and the circuit control panels. Shale,
That's the emergency generator over there, isn't it?
Yes, and by the looks of it, it's the same model as the one used in Heritage Found.
But how does it send power to the other lab?
Ah, I see. The energy cable attached to the base of this terminal leads down the hall, directly to the Deutero lab.
Which means we need a way to connect the generator to the cable. What about these patterns on the floor? Could this be the circuit we need to reconfigure?
I believe you have the right of it. Using the control panels set into each of the tiles, we create an unbroken path for the power to follow.
What I wouldn't give for an instruction manual.
Indeed. If you could look around for any written procedures, I'll keep digging through the terminal's directories. Might I also ask someone to operate the generator?
I can do it. I've used that type of machine before. Then would you be willing to try and reconfigure the circuit path, Baobao? The rest of us can help by supplying Baobao with whatever information might be found on the circuitry configuration.
Mm-hmm. Not that one. Not that one. Let's see.
How about take a look at this diagram? There's a note in the bottom left about backup power. Configure the 4 circuit control panels to provide an uninterrupted path. These symbols must present the room we're in. If that square in the top left is Shale's terminal, then the bottom right should be the generator that Gulajah is working on. It's hard to make out the rest. Assuming these are 4 tile patterns, the bottom right is a square and the top right is half a circle? There's something to get you started on at least. Ta-da! That fixed it. I had it slightly backwards. It worked! We did it, Baobao! The Deutero lab should now be fully powered. Well done, everyone! If I may, Shale, could we access a certain data log before moving on? I was checking the storage shelves and one of the labels caught my eye. Preservation, the early days is the title.
Of course, it'll only take a moment to bring up the contents. Ah, it looks to be a text-based account. I'll read it out. Preservation, an Alexandrian institute for technological development, was founded by Calix, an 11-year-old child prodigy. Approval for establishing the organization came during Alexandria's involvement in the Storm Surge, with Calix's designs for new defensive solutions funded in large part by the Treasury. As the conflict grew in intensity and casualties mounted, Calyx funneled Preservation's resources toward the perfection of memory storage. Research into this field continued even after the storm surge came to an end, with Calyx eventually electing to preserve his own memories in a virtual domain. So this account is from before he embraced his endless existence, hundreds of years ago. I met him only once before the storm surge began. I was attending my father, who was then the reigning king of Alexandria. Calyx could not have been more than 10 years of age and required constant treatment for his debilitating illness, yet still he published theories so highly regarded that even the royal family was aware of his achievements. Life should not be lost to the injustice of death. Even now I can hear the single-minded will behind his words. So it was that when war came to our kingdom, my father was quick to commit his unwavering support to this somber youth and his proposals for preservation. Several years later, the ensuing violence brought the death of both my parents. Overwhelmed as I was by my sudden succession to the throne, I suspect they spared me the reports on endless research and other less urgent matters. So you had no way of knowing what kind of person Calyx was changing into. Did he change? I wonder. Perhaps he's ever been the type to value ideals over compassion, and I failed to see it at the time. Or perhaps he did change, but is still driven by those same deeply held beliefs, that mortality is cruel and unjust, and his role is to deliver mankind from this fate. Whatever the case may be, we cannot allow him to shape our future. Let's press on, shall we? If I've done my job correctly, the door to the Deuter lab should be accessible now. I'll give everything a once-over, just to be sure. The energy current seems stable enough. Still, you should let me handle this one. The security card, if you please, and oh, a quick prayer that a shorted wire doesn't burn me from the inside out. If that's a risk, I should definitely be handling this. Right, I'll get this door open. Phew, smooth as silk. Let's head inside and see what awaits. Gods above, isn't that... The key to interdimensional fusion? That looks to be a schematic on the monitor. And they've used it to make another key, but isn't it missing the shard inside like the one Baobao has? Ah, we may have been laboring under a misconception. The key was originally a Lala relic. Once this treasure came into its possession, Preservation began working to harness the power to cross dimensions. Aside from the crystal, we can see that all the vessel's components were constructed here. So what might that tell us? This is just the device they made to control it. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. It is as my parents explained. The key remains shrouded in mystery. Preservation augmented it with electrope, but never grasped the technology's underlying principles. To this day, not a single person understands the mechanics of interdimensional fusion. Not who imbued the key with its power, not when they did so, nor why. Now it makes sense. Calyx can track the key because its vessel was made by Preservation. I believe there's much we may learn in this room. On our next visit, I will have to enlist Y'shtola's assistance for a thorough investigation.
I too am curious about a great many things, but pinning down Calix's whereabouts is our priority. Hopefully there is a security card here that grants access to the director's office. The search conducted in this lab appears to have been highly confidential in nature. Some of the personnel must have belonged to the organization's upper echelons, and that means higher security clearance. We should spread out and look for any cards they left behind. Remember, anything less than a level 3 is no good to us. Extended puzzle section. Hey, storage crate. What do you got for me? Documents, binders, no security cards. Little John, anything? Why were they making so many vessels? Did the other ones not work properly? Ah. I'll search through these drawers. One of us is bound to find something. I'm sure of it. Maybe someone left a card on a shelf somewhere. No sign of any security guards. I found a security card! Let's have Shale examine it to be sure. Well, well, if it isn't exactly what we needed. Nice work, Baobao. Oh, a level 3. That should get us into the director's office. So, what was it you were hoping to find in there again, Shale? You were saying that a certain device was going to help us. Right, I haven't properly explained myself, have I? I'm looking for a data relay. After we discovered this ostensibly abandoned complex, I performed a cursory investigation which detected a connection to an outside network. When I traced the data's routing, I confirmed traffic from a web of Everkeep's security cameras. Considering the way Calix is always one step ahead of us, we must assume he's quietly seized control of the city's surveillance system and has been using it to monitor our activities. To monitor what you, as the key holder, are planning. But since Calix is the ultimate recipient of those transmissions, the flow of data is like a river that we can follow back to him. Which is why I need the data relay. If I can analyze the device and see where it's rerouting all this surveillance traffic, then you can pinpoint Calix's position. That said, he has done nothing to impede our progress, which makes me think I might be on entirely the wrong track. Maybe the reason he isn't stopping us is because he can't. Back in the old castle, Calix said he was measuring Baobao's strength. What can he possibly dream up that's stronger than her? Oh, speaking of cameras, there was another thing I meant to mention. I found evidence that someone deliberately disabled the surveillance feed in this room. The most recent recording was also crudely deleted. I was able to restore the data, though, if you'd like to see it. I'll start the show, then.
私はまだこれまでの常識を捨てきれずにいるんだわ。生命は死によって自らの種を淘汰し最適化してきた。進化を望んだからこそ死ぬのよ。それを止めてしまった先に本当に人類の未来があるの？もしそこにあるのが果てのない停滞だったら、私たちのやっていることは
その発言はカリクス様を否定することになる。
そうね。彼と同じ視点を持つことができたら、こんな不安も抱かずにいられたかもしれない。でも無理よ。私は彼じゃない。何もかも違いすぎる。非凡な才能を持っていることも、なのに病のせいで成人まで生きられないと言われていたことも、全ての無駄を切り詰めて研究に没頭していることも。彼が苦境でも負けずに努力して死を超越する手段を勝ち得た点はもちろん尊敬しているわ。けれどその生への執着が正しいものだって確信できない。だから私は組織を抜けて、これからは次の世代に後を託すために精一杯生きたいと思う。あなただって
離反する者は始末しろと言われているのでな。
She only wanted to leave and he executed her.
I checked the images against the personnel data, and the man who pulled the trigger was Director Demetrius himself. Everything I could find on him pointed to a deep infatuation with Master Calyx. The cameras in this room have been out of operation ever since that incident. Given that the recording was erased, I can only assume he was trying to conceal his grisly deed from the other researchers.
I am not surprised, given how my parents described their defection from the Institute. They spoke of rushing me through a portal, even as Preservation's agents closed in on them. I dared not ask what became of them after that, but if it turns out they were captured by their pursuers...
They did not regret their actions.
Right, the Echo. Knowing you saw them as they were, your words give me great comfort. Oh, Kryl. Worry not, Sphene. Thanks to the Haven of Living Memory, I was at least able to meet my parents and learn what they stood for. It is enough for me to carry on.
Even now, we don't know how the conflict unfolded between your parents and Preservation, but what we do know is your father and mother cleverly expunged every last trace of their movements. They made sure no one could cross into the source or threaten their child's safety.
Right. Let's press on, shall we? This tale behind the key deserves a fitting conclusion. To the director's office.
Level 3.
There we go. Let's head inside.
Now to find that data relay, and don't be shy, everyone. Speak up if anything odd catches your eye. Baobao, come with me. I might have need of that security card. Damn. This terminal isn't connected to any outside network, so it can't be the data relay I'm looking for. This office is also smaller than the map suggested. I'm positive we're in the right room. What am I missing? Sorry, Baobao, could I ask that you and the others search the office for any clues to this infuriating puzzle? Crumpled note. Secure room lift access. Requires passwords to be input simultaneously at terminals in the Protolab, the Deuterolab, and the Director's office. You know it. Soul cell storage case. Nothing here. Cluttered side table. Amongst other personal effects, you find what is presumably the director's data tablet. A closed locker stands next to the table. Oh, God! Nothing of note. You pick up the data tablet and begin skimming through the contents. Let's look at the daily reports first. Nothing of note. The mystery of the key's activation condition remains unsolved. The key triggered an explosion today. Temporary interdimensional portal verified. Continue attempts to stabilize the core's energy reactions. 13 researchers sustained fatal injuries in the explosion. Memory faculties of 4 personnel sufficiently intact for endless conversion. Remaining 9 designated for either reclamation processing. Nothing of note. Rejected resignations of 2 Lala researchers. Major incident. Details in full report. Those 2 inept Lala broke with preservation and absconded with the key. Though the fugitives have long since been caught and eliminated, we were too late to recover the relic. The only reason we retained our flesh was to serve Master Calix as physical instruments to conduct his experiments. Deprived of the object of our research, our existence serves no further purpose. I dare not imagine the depths of his disappointment in me. The complex is to be shut down. All personnel will have their bodies reduced to ether, which will be reallocated for further experimentation. Memory data will be archived. Any endless conversions will be subject to Master Calix's discretion. If he does not deem us fit, then we are not deserving of eternal life. Whew. All personnel have undergone processing. Once the shutdown protocols have been completed, I will proceed with my own corporeal dissolution. As long as the key remains in the physical world, we must keep this complex in pristine condition. Whether it be needed for experiments or otherwise, it must be ready to support future operations in whatever capacity Master Calix requires. To that end, facility equipment will be maintained in stasis mode. Furthermore, a critical component for secure room access will be stored separately to defend against unauthorized entry. Have you found something? Whew, did I? Thank you. A misplaced note, was it? With instructions for accessing a secure room, no less. Seems we need to enter a password on 3 different terminals at the same time. There was no such room marked on the map, was there? No, a precautionary measure, no doubt, and if passwords are involved, I expect the access lift itself is concealed, too. Concealed? By electrope, you mean? Ah, could it be that wall? I thought it seemed odd when I walked past. Remember what Kafkiwa used to say, Shale? Never trust an electrope surface. The electrope isn't always what it appears to be. Oh, of course. Electrope is how you alter the look of all Solution 9's floors and walls, isn't it? In which case, it shouldn't be too hard to disable. Another door! I've managed to deactivate the projection, but the lock is another story. Didn't that note lay out the password protocol? I say we go ahead and try it. I agree. 2 people should prepare the lab terminals for input while the rest of us look for passwords here in the office. I'll take the Protolab. Then I'll take the Deuterolab. Actually, it might be better if you stayed, Sveen. Your knowledge of Alexandria and its people could be needed here. Yes, you're right. If the passwords are hiding behind clues, that may be something I can help with. I can help too. I've lived my whole life in Alexandria after all. I will take Deuterolab duty then. We can keep in touch via communicator to match our timing. Baobao, you shall have the honor of entering the office password. Once we've determined what we need to input, take your place at this terminal. I'll stand by to guide Wuklamot and Cryo through the process. You know, there was that display plate over there, the one with the gems. I thought since it was made of electrope, it might have some other purpose. But I couldn't find any switches or buttons to make it do anything. Maybe you can figure it out. Oh. Oh. Two jewels are embedded in this electrope plate. You identify the blue gem as sapphire and the red gem as garnet. There also appears to be an empty slot for another jewel to fill. I should take a closer look at these reports. One of them might have hints to the passwords. I kept searching the drawers with the books and found a cube puzzle made of electrope. It's probably just a toy, but maybe... Let's see, if I move this a bit, then connect this circuit to that one. There! Huh? There's something inside. Oh, it's a pretty green stone. I think it might be Alexandrite. They say these gems were so treasured in the past that they named the kingdom after them. Here, you should hold on to this one, just in case. Haha! Gemstone fits snugly into place. Almost immediately afterwards, the glowing lines of a diagram appear on the display, accompanied by a short phrase. Could this be an arcane circuit? A floor plan of the complex. Yes. Sapphire, Protolab. Alexandrite, Director's Office. What's the phrase? Yes, I knew that jewel would come in handy. Let me see. Heed the stones. This must be about the special meanings Alexandrians have for gems. It's an old belief, I think, where each type of gem means something different. I bet if you asked Sphene, she could tell you more about it. After all, even her name comes from a gemstone. Okay, I've examined it. There we go. Yes, if you have questions, you need only ask. Alexandrite represents the concept of protection. It is incidentally also the origin of Alexandria's name. Oh, are you thinking this has something to do with the passwords? A sapphire and a garnet as well. Yes, they all have meanings. Alexandrite is protection. Sapphire represents honesty. And garnet represents devotion. We should try these words at the terminals and see if they're accepted. I certainly hope we're right. Wuklamot in the Protolab. Cryo in the Deuterolab. Yes! Oh, I'm so glad that worked. That secure room is the only place we've yet to search. If the data relay is anywhere, it has to be there. We'll venture in as soon as Wuklamot and Cryo rejoin us. All right, everyone. Time to board the lift and see what awaits us. It's another terminal with a relay.
特別な端末には見えねえな。これが探してたやつなのか？
ええ、うまくいけばですけどね。
人って記憶から構成されているでしょ。けれど記憶自体は言ってしまえば情報に過ぎない、実体がないっていう意味でね。いわば情報体である彼らが現実世界に干渉するには2つの方法しかないわ。一つがリビングメモリーで出会ったトワ人たちのように生命エーテルで仮初めの肉体を作るという方法。見えて触れられる幽霊みたいな状態ね。そしてもう一つがカフキワさんのように機械を遠隔操作する方法だけど、実体化していない時彼らはどこにいると思う？トワ人は記憶は情報。
In a world formed of data?
そう、きっとエレクトロープ製の機械の中に情報で作られた記憶の幻想世界があるんじゃないかしら。私たちは実際それを目にしているしね。
エターナルクイーンにたどり着くまでの記憶の中のアレクサンドリアか。
じゃあその記憶の幻想世界がメインターミナルの中に構築されてるってこと？
けどよ、リビングメモリーのターミナルは私らがシャットダウンしたはずだよな。
ええ、間違いありません。カフキワさんが用意したハッキングプログラムは想定通りの結果をもたらしました。メインターミナルはシャットダウンされ、その証拠にスペーンの体を低温保存していた装置も機能を停止していたわけです。
But
ただ相手はエレクトロープ技術の天才。彼なら自分の記憶が保存された領域を密かに守ることも不可能ではないでしょう。
メインターミナル内に記憶の幻想世界が存在し、カリュクスもそこにいるとして、一方でこの町は今原初世界側にあるでしょ。なら2つの世界をつないでいる黄金鏡の扉を閉じてしまえばカリュクスの干渉を防げるんじゃないかとも考えたのだけれど。
リビングメモリーを調査した時に試してみましたが、管理者権限でロックがかかっていたんですよ。あの時は戦王が設定したものと思っていたのです
が、カリュクスが手を回してたかもしれねえってことか。
やはり間違いないですね。今もキープ中の監視映像が機関システムから収集されてどこかへ送られているようです。それもあなたが映っている映像ばかり。おそらく鍵の持ち主を追跡しているのでしょう。
this is unsurprising.
時間だ。とんだ無駄足になったね。監視映像の送り先を特定して俺の居場所を割り出したかったんだろうけど、その必要はもうない。
Okay.
お前の力を測り、それを倒すに足る戦力を用意する。なかなか手間のかかる仕事だったが、ついに完了だ。来なよ。メインターミナルの上部区画に俺の記憶を収めたエレクトロープの装置がある。それを壊せばお前たちの勝ちだ。俺はあの手この手で迎撃して鍵の奪還を狙うとしよう。
その誘いに乗らなかったら。
待つだけだ。粛々と国民の問わびとかを進めながら。お前たちが時間を無駄に費やさず賢い選択をすることを願っているよ。
おい、一つだけ私の質問にも答える。お前は戦王に問わ人のスフェーンに無理難題を課して追い詰められたあいつが鍵を使うように仕組んだ。そこまでやれるならあいつの計画が破られた瞬間、鍵がこっちの手に渡る前に回収することだってできたんじゃねえか。
痛いところをつく。あればかりは誤算だったと言わざるを得ない。消える間際に再構築された問わ人としてのスフェーンの心。メインターミナルの制御機構と一体化していた彼女はあの瞬間あの場所でだけ俺をもしのぐ権限を有していた。そして守り合わせたのさ。国の未来を託した隣国の王と鍵を託した英雄を。俺の存在をどこまで認識していたかは定かじゃない。いや、覗き見には気づいていたというところだろう。これで満足。
ああ、お前にはもうこの国の大事なものを渡さねえ。命も未来もスフェーンが愛した笑顔も何一つとしてな。勝手を言って悪いけど、私はカリクスと決着をつけることを迷わねえ。あいつが思い描いている未来がどんなに上出来でも、そのための犠牲を厭わなかった奴は必ずまた誰かを泣かせる。 私はそれを止めてんだ。
Let's plan our next move.
Ano-san, この私が言うべきことじゃないって。でもありがとう、二人とも。隠したのが君たちでよかったって。もう一人の私に代わって伝えさせて。
I'm here to help, but also to destroy. We'll see which it is today. Phew! Well, that was an adventure. It may not have been by the method Shale was hoping for, but at least now we know where to find Calyx and what we need to do next. Indeed. While I remain curious about Preservation's research into the key, that is an investigation for another day. Then let's head straight to the back room. We should get everyone on the same page before we make our move. And I'm going to step outside of the back room to get back into a sanctuary, because this is actually a great place for me to leave off before I get further embroiled in the story. So until next time, I bid you farewell.